I have nipples, Tim. Can you milk me? Meet the parents. It's coming up next.
Haven't Seen It with Tim Sestito and Tommy Tevenet. Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. Thank you all so much for listening today. This is a podcast where one of us is watching a movie for the very first time. And today, that person was Tommy. Tommy had never seen Meet the Parents.
The weird thing is I've seen Meet the Fockers, the sequel to this, but never saw the original. So it's good to finally get it. I mean, we'll talk, but I personally really fucking love this movie. I thought it was hilarious.
We'll dive into it. This is personally a not favorite of mine.
You don't like the cringe?
Hey, we'll dive into it more. I
Yeah.
don't mind cringe. Like I can find it really funny when I think there's a lot of jokes to it, and there's some humorous points in this movie. But a lot of this movie is just like very uncomfortable situations without jokes, and it's just
Oh,
them like just sitting there.
I think that's what the humor comes from. I think it's just those uncomfortable situations are the jokes, and they're really fucking hilarious because I think of scenarios like that all the time.
Okay, well, to each their own. I disagree with your hypo.
Mhm.
What's the Quentin Tarantino line? I reject your hypothesis. Do you
Eh.
know? Do you know what that's from? When he was doing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood press, and some like lady asked, being like, "Why does Margot Robbie have so few lines compared to the other actors?" And he was just like, "I reject your hypothesis." That's all he said.
Yeah, Tarantino's the fucking man. So I mean, like he's worked the Muppets before, so he gets a pass in our book.
Tarantino could do whatever the fuck he wants. But Tommy,
Yeah.
is there anything you've watched this past week that you'd like to share with the class?
All right. So for show and tell, Tim, you're gonna love this one. I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, the third Ant-Man movie. I honestly liked it. It wasn't perfect. It was like pretty middle of the road Marvel overall. It's like for me like a 3.5 out of 5. So it was still pretty funny. The beginning parts of it, Paul Rudd obviously is hilarious as usual of his ad libbing and stuff like that. When they really leaned into Paul Rudd, just playing Paul Rudd, it really worked. But then I feel like a little bit like towards the beginning, towards the middle, like I was just exhausted and kind of was like, it got a little too green screen, a little too like special effectsy until a little lost its way. But I feel like overall the central performance of Paul Rudd really carried this movie, and it's still an enjoyable Marvel watch. I mean, the best thing I can say about a Marvel movie these days is that this wasn't terrible. People are saying it's the worst movie ever, but it was like it's enjoyable. It's a movie you can watch in the background, honestly, too, and it's fine. I liked it.
Yeah, I saw the reviews and it was getting killed. I haven't seen it yet. I just think it's just overall fatigue from the franchise, like Marvel as a
Yeah.
whole. And it's not even, it's like, it feels like the quality of the movies went down, yet the amount, it's like they had the same planned budget for all Marvel entities, but now
Mhm.
instead of splitting it between two or three movies a year, depending on the year, it was like, okay, we're gonna push out 4 to 5 movies a year, and we're gonna have 3 to 4 TV shows, and you're all sharing the same budget. And then
Yeah.
it's just like getting your head like hammered in on it.
Well, it's just like it's a lot of these Marvel movies just need to have smaller stakes. What was good about like the second Ant-Man movie, for example, is the stakes of that movie were so small, like literally as that the character is. Or it's just like pretty much they're just dealing with a black arms dealer. It wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't end the world thing. Whereas for this reason, it introduced Jonathan Majors as King. That's not a spoiler. He's in the trailers. Jonathan Majors was good. But at the same time, it was just like we don't need Ant-Man to set up like the next great Avengers movie. We just need Ant-Man to be quirky and be funny. And it was like the second they got into the quirky stuff, I mean the sci-fi stuff, it was like this is too much. But anyways, Timmy Tradition, have you seen anything good this week?
I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. I was in San Diego for a golf trip, and we watched Top Gun Maverick, and that movie still rocks. It rocks so goddamn hard. And we were in
Yeah,
Fighter Town, USA. We were in San Diego. So it felt very
you had to.
appropriate. And some of the guys hadn't seen it. So it was like, oh, okay, yeah, we're throwing it on. And some dude named Paul had his Paramount Plus logged into the house TV, so we were just able to stream it for
Fuck yeah.
free. It was perfect.
Yeah.
That
There's
movie
a,
rocks so hard. Oh my
I,
god.
I still need to rewatch it. I've only seen it once in theaters over a year ago, so or at this point.
It's
But
under a year, but yeah, I get what you're saying. It's been
it,
since
it's been
May
a while.
2022. Yeah, you haven't seen it in 10 months.
Yeah,
But I that movie still rocks. It rocks hard. That's not what we're talking about today, Tommy. We're talking about Meet the Parents.
and they referenced Top Gun in that movie.
I milked a cat once.
Greg is spending the weekend with his girlfriend's parents.
I had no idea you could milk a cat.
Oh yeah, you can milk anything with nipples.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
What could possibly go wrong?
Jake's strictly a house cat. You can't let him outside.
From the director of Austin Powers,
You tried to milk him, didn't you, you sick son of a...
Robert De Niro, Ben
You
Stiller,
okay, sweetie? Yeah.
Meet the Parents, rated PG-13, at theaters Friday, October 6th.
What could go wrong? Quite literally everything. This is Meet the Parents, where Greg Fokker, actually Gaylord Fokker, meets his future fiancee Pam's parents for the first time. And boy, oh boy, I have no idea how she's still in love with him after that weekend. Tommy, give me some of your thoughts about Meet the Parents. Do you think outside of movie world, outside of Hollywood land, that if these concurrent events happened with a significant other, first time meeting the parents, and you're like, oh, like I was gonna propose to her, do you still think that realistically you would have proposed to her by the end of that weekend and that she would still be in love with you?
I feel like part of it would be like the whatever her character's name was, Pam Burns. Like her character would just be like, "You're such a dipshit, dude. What is get your shit together, dude? Come on, like what's going on here?"
I, this so I don't really care for this movie. I think it has its good moments. One of the like the really positive things I think they do in this movie is pretty much right when you walk into the house for the first time, they set up the bits. Like they set up Jinx,
Yeah.
the cat right there. And then Jack shows the teddy bear spy cameras, even though we the audience are told that he was a rare flower dealer for the past 30 years and just retired.
Mhm.
And so they do this good thing of kind of setting like what the big picture is in this movie, where they're going to like what's kind of going to be unfold. Like I think they do that really well.
Mhm.
My issue with this movie is that it is just exclusively uncomfortable situations, and there's not really jokes in the movie. There's some.
I disagree completely. I think this is just like the pinnacle of cringe comedy right here. I mean, you could see, for me personally, I think that you could see like the through line from this to The Office, where like there's some episodes of The Office. Like Timmy, are you a fan of Scott's Tots? Or
I can sit through Scott's Tots or Dinner Party because it's so absurd.
Mhm.
And by the time it gets absurd in Meet the Parents, I'm already like feel the eels crawling like on my
Oh.
skin. Like I can deal with cringe humor, but I like a level of absurdity to it. Like I like that level of being like, okay, this isn't real world, where like the beginning of this is like there's nothing odd about it, right? It's just like this is a very standard bad first meeting with parents.
that's why I think it's great, but it's kind of relatable. I mean, the only real like crazy hijinks at first is like just the fact that like they talk about how Jinx the cat can like piss uh, in a fucking toilet, and
Yeah.
I mean, but it's low key, but it's just like very not like very broad in a way, but just very uncomfortable in a way that just like I couldn't help but just laughing at just like how Robert De Niro clearly like so many times throughout the movie was just like, who the fuck is this dipshit right here? I think the highlight of that for me was there's this one shot that Jay Roach does in this movie where it's the Peter Paul and Mary thing, Puff the Magic Dragon, where Ben Stiller is describing Puff the Magic Dragon and just focus on De Niro's face while he's doing it, and you just see the disgust from De Niro's face at that Clint Eastwood meme, being just like, the fuck is this kid saying right here? Like, what is this younger generation saying?
I think one thing this movie is missing is like it's missing at the beginning of the movie like that dinner scene of Pam and Greg going out and just seeing their relationship and seeing him be like confident and funny and like flirty, and we finally get that like an hour and 20 into the movie when they're at the rehearsal dinner. No, but just hear me out. Like, Greg comes off like somebody that has never interacted with other human beings before in a slightly pressured situation whatsoever. And it just, I just don't believe that she is just so madly in love with him, because all we hear is just like, well, yeah, I'm just madly in love with him. I just love him so much, but we don't like see why. Like, there's no reason why. Everything he does should be pushing her away from him.
I disagree. I mean, I think in the beginning of the movie we get that good like 10-15 minutes of like him like about to propose to her and like, you know, the talking off and like them getting together, and then you have some moments throughout the house before things get like even crazier, just between them talking about like what just happened and just her being like, oh, I love you, and like saying how tender they are together. I think that those moments, they let the relationship breathe a little bit for me in a way that it didn't feel like it was just forced, being like, I understood why they were in a relationship personally. I could see the scenes. It felt enough for me.
I just wish there was the scene before they're dropped into the situation, because those
that was the engagement. That was the almost.
That's like not a thing. That was like the meat. That was like the meat cute for the audience to just get to know these characters. But I could have used literally a 2-minute scene of them packing in the apartment, just talking about anything that these characters have interests in. Like, I like during the Puff the Magic Dragon scene, and it just starts off and it's just very awkward silence in the car. Like, why don't you ask him, so are you a fan of baseball, football? Like, what are you into, Jack? Like, why don't you just ask him like a very baseline?
Oh, I don't know. It felt relatable to me in some ways, where it's just like sometimes you get in conversations with people where you realize that there's like nothing you can really talk about and get on that relatable level, and just that you can feel the awkward tension. And like the fact that like every single joke that Ben Stiller tries to tell the family throughout the whole entire like weekend just bombs spectacularly.
I did like that. I have that written down. I did like that. Like like where they were like, oh, somebody got bit by the hair fairy. Like when he comes out in his pajamas and everybody's all dressed up already. And then after the breakfast, he like gets up. He's like, well, I guess I got to go see the shower fairy.
Yeah,
and literally everybody just looks at him. Like those were humorous moments to me. But again, and I just don't really like Greg Fokker as a character, and I don't think they really give enough. Like, I don't know who he is. Like, I know he's a nurse, and I know he makes bad jokes, and I know he loves Pam, and those are the 3 things that I know about him. I could have used like 2 more things. Like, I feel like we've watched a lot of really good rom-coms, and we've really gotten to know these characters, like what they do, like anything from like, what's your favorite TV show, to is there a sport you like? Do you like the ballet? Like does he take ballet lessons on a Thursday? I guess anything for these 2 characters. I have no understanding other than the fact that like the script told Pam to come out and meet him cute for dinner, and he's trying to do a very cute proposal, and then finds out that he should probably do the common sense thing and ask her parents for their permission for her hand in marriage, which is a very common thing to do. Now, I've seen Meet the Fockers. From what I remember, like they're very traditional. The parents, that's Dustin Hoffman and Barbara Streisand, right?
Yeah.
Meet the Fockers, yeah. And that's fine. That's all well and done. I don't really believe that they had. They probably did for some of the because they do write some background for these characters when they write them. But again, it's one of these things that don't get explained, and I just get the sense that he's like this very awkward guy walking into like the Burnses and Owen Wilson's character Kevin. They all come off very old money, New York, like very old money. Like they live in Oyster Bay, which is a very wealthy town on Long Island. And like he was not ready for that. But I would have liked to have seen like a little bit of like what he does.
you want to see his hobbies.
So I just want to know the character.
You just want some hobbies. I mean,
I just want. When I say hobbies, I just mean I want to know the character a little bit, like a phone call with his mother beforehand, just to get the understanding of like his mother is not normal. Got it.
This is definitely the most we probably disagreed on a movie so far. I mean, who would have thought we'd meet the parents of all fucking movies?
But I think we're both making valid points. I think it just comes down to taste in terms of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, this is what I feel like. It's just like I immediately understood Ben Stiller's character, just like an anxious person, which I can definitely be it sometimes. Ben Stiller was apparently cast because Jay Roach said, "I saw Meet the Parents as an anxiety dream, and in my view, nobody plays that kind of material better than Ben." And you can see it. This is just feels like a whole fever dream of like what could go wrong. As like when you think of like anxiety, or like sometimes I'll think of like scenarios where it's just like, oh my god, how bad would it be right now if I just like tripped and fell into this or something like that, or overthink over that and over again. And this is just like, here's the worst version of what could happen in this scenario, like over and over and over again. That's what this movie is, where it's just like he tries to be like a fun like person in the family, and then immediately when he goes to play volleyball, spikes a person in the face.
Spikes the bride to be in the face. But again, it's one of these things where it's like, who is like, again, who is this guy? Like, I get getting caught up in competition because it happens to me, but I also have, and again, I know it's a movie. Like, I get that. The guy is such like, he's just I just don't really relate to that. Like, I'm not really an anxious person though. I feel like that kind of can definitely come through between the two of us, like on the podcast. I don't really deal with anxiety. I'll deal with analysis paralysis of overthinking like a situation that I'm in, but I don't really get too stressed about like things that can happen. And when I have those thoughts, I'm just like, well, it hasn't happened yet. So what am I worried about? Like, what am I overthinking about?
Well, give me your brain.
I know you'd like my brain, Tommy. I'm sorry. I can't do that.
Yeah, you can't duplicate.
Can't duplicate it. But I don't really deal with that. So maybe it is from my side of it. I just don't connect with the character in that way, just because I don't deal with that kind of anxiety. Like, I can meet new people and just get to know them. Like, I'm very good at just shaking someone's hand. Oh, okay. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, where are you from? Where's this? Where are you from? What do you do? Oh, you like, I love baseball. And I can go, go on and on, find a way to make a somewhat of a connection, even if it's just we're going to be friends for the time that we're hanging out, and then that's that. But I can do that with ease, and I guess other people just don't have that. But again, I would have liked to have just seen that before he gets there, because like they're in Chicago for 2 minutes. He does the proposal, and then they're flying to New York. You get what I'm saying? Where it's just like in the beginning, like I just wanted a little more of the characters. Like I just wanted to get to know.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Greg
this
and
movie
Pam.
is.
I just wanted to get to know Greg and Pam better. And I feel like we don't get to know Pam at all in this movie.
Well, yeah, she's very underwritten. I'll give you that much. But I mean, like, I think they just were like, people are here for Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro. Let's just focus on them. So it's like whatever. I mean, like sometimes it does happen in rom-coms where it's just like the female part's a little underwritten, and this is definitely the case here. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like I got enough of Ben Stiller's character just to understand where that guy's coming from. I mean, I'm definitely not anxious to the point that he is, but like, it's definitely a little bit relatable right here. So you'll probably like this. How this movie came to be. I was reading this, and I was kind of like one of the few times where I was reading like movie trivia. I was like, what the fuck? So this was a remake, apparently, of a 1992 independent film with the same name. And this movie got a lot of buzz. People were really big about it and everything like that. I think Emo Phillips was in it. And then Steven Soderbergh brought this to attention of Universal with intention to direct this movie. So can you imagine the Steven Soderbergh version?
Oh, would have had such a great. Oh, that would have been such a better movie.
I feel like it probably would have been more character driven. So, but he dropped out to focus on Out of Sight. So then Jay Roach was about to direct, and then he almost did direct because I'll give you this one. Steven Spielberg wanted to direct this movie.
And I would have loved the Spielberg cut of this. Oh
yeah.
my God.
Well, I don't know how Steven Spielberg could do straight up comedy. I mean, as much we don't see.
But this isn't like a straight up comedy. It's just like uncomfortable. Like there's no like comedy.
I felt the
comedies
comedy.
have jokes. Like this doesn't have jokes.
That comedies have like awkward situations too.
They have awkward situations, but they're usually characters like making jokes back at each other, and that's usually where the uncomfort comes from. But because the jokes are like, but there's no jokes. It's so mundane. For me, it's too mundane.
No, it's not mundane enough for me. It felt just like fucking hilarious. Where like there's so many scenes where I was just cracking up and like couldn't stop laughing. But anyways, the Steven Spielberg version would have starred Jim Carrey, apparently.
Oh, he would have done such a better job.
I don't know, because like Jim Carrey, I can't imagine Jim Carrey playing anxious as well, because that's like what the character
What are
of
you
Greg would have
what
been.
are you talking about? Jim Carrey like can play anxiety in a bottle, like the way he can just like just the way he speaks. Like it's a different intensity, and it would be a different.
I'm
It would be
thinking
a
the broad.
it would be a different kind of anxiety, but it would be much more humor. Like it would have been more humorous. Like that's the problem. Like I'm just sitting there uncomfortable. I'm not laughing at this movie.
Well, I mean, different stroke for different folks because I was laughing throughout. But it was like, apparently the Jim Carrey version was going to have more broad physical comedy in it too. Where like, I don't know, I guess like Jim Carrey would have gotten more hijinks where you like fall over a roof or something and more broad in that aspect. But I don't know. I think Ben Stiller was perfectly cast. I mean, are you not a Ben Stiller fan? Let's get to that point.
I think he's fine. Like I kind of think he's pretty one note, to be honest. No, and he's not one note. He's like two note. He's like got this straight guy persona, and then whenever he plays a character, he's just like Mr. Tough Macho, the guy from Globo Gym in Dodgeball. Like that's his other character, and I guess Zoolander. But Zoolander's kind of just like it's just like playing simple. Like I don't think he's like that great, but I get the appeal. Like he's very easy. He's very like warm, and like you can definitely feel connection with him for an audience. I don't think he's like a terrific performer, but like I don't really care about Ben Stiller. Like he had his moment in the sun, and I'm very happy for him. Like I would have rather Vince Vaughn in this role. Like I think this would be a better movie with Vince Vaughn, because Vince Vaughn can just make anybody feel anxiety. Where I don't think Ben Stiller does as good of a job.
I don't agree. I think that Vince Vaughn's like too cocky for me as an actor. Like, I always think of him in Swingers. I think of him in Wedding Crashers, and like I haven't seen him play like a more vulnerable character in that. I don't think he can play that as well as Ben Stiller does. While Ben Stiller does the macho thing, that's usually much more broad when he does that. And Ben Stiller, I think, is much more relatable as every man, where Vince Vaughn usually plays like the cocky douche or whatever.
Well, I would agree with you there, but I just meant in terms of like I'm thinking of the scenes with Greg and Pam in the bedroom, like going back and forth, like Vince Vaughn reading those lines, like you would just feel the anxiety coming off the screen. Where with Greg, it doesn't come off that way. Listen, this movie just doesn't work for me. It's a very popular movie. It did incredibly well at the box office.
It's just not your type.
it just literally since the first time I remember seeing this, probably like first time like middle school. And I was just sitting there like with like eels on my skin. Like I just did not like this movie. But I like the Eric Andre show. I like Tim and Eric. Like I like cringe humor. Like I don't have a problem with it. But I usually like the absurdity on it. Like The Office is a mundane setting, but the events that happen in The Office are not mundane. They are ridiculous and over the top. And that's where I think the blend of humor and cringe come together. This is just mundane. This is like mundane dialogue until he like burns down the house.
This is much more dry in a way. I mean, like, have you watched the British version of The Office? And if so,
I have watched
what do you feel about it?
I haven't watched that in like 15 years, but I have watched the British version of The Office. I like dry humor too. I just didn't think there was that much humor here. It was just like
it's all let me defend myself for a little bit to prove my point. But it was very situational basis, very much just like a little bit dry, a little bit more in like the nuance of the dialogue, and it just letting the cringe breathe a little bit more, where it's just like you could see so many times of De Niro just being like, okay, cool.
I do respect this movie for letting it breathe, because we talk about movies where they just talk too much and it's just like let it breathe. But the joke, it always is, isn't this so uncomfortable? Like that's every joke in this movie. That's every situation in this movie isn't this so uncomfortable? And it works once or twice. Like if they wanted to keep it mundane for they didn't. I think it has an escalation issue of where it gets absurd. Like the first truly I want to say absurd thing that happens is probably I guess you could say the lie detector scene, but I kind of like the lie detector scene, and I think in the context of everything, it's not that absurd. Like the first absurd thing is like the volleyball spiking and then letting the cat out of the house.
Well, no. Even before that, I'd say him knocking over the grandma's ashes and then the cat
Oh, the
pissing on the
grandma's
ashes.
ashes. Yeah, that one too. But like again, but these are all like it's so mundane. Like
That doesn't feel mundane. I mean, that was one of those things where it's just like an escalation. I mean, one of the things that I personally loved in this movie was the dinner scene where they build up Robert De Niro, how he started making poems and how he started writing poems as like a art therapy, and then like there was just like for me a underlying tension right there where it's just like the whole entire time throughout that scene I started just dying laughing because it was like, all right, there's two scenarios here. There's gonna be like the most beautiful thing you ever fucking heard, or it's just gonna be like the most absurd thing you ever heard. And it was for me a more absurd thing where just the way De Niro's describing it, and just like, Mom, you're dead. And I couldn't beat the cancer out of you, or whatever it was. Just when he was saying that, I just couldn't help but just die laughing. Just it really hit me in that way. Where it's like, oh my god, this is just so uncomfortable. This is like the worst fucking dinner party ever. It felt for me like the dinner party in the office, but a much more subtle version of it. And that's why I just found it really funny and just loved it.
yeah, for me, like I have it in my notes. I'm like, I want more wacky here. Like I have queued here the clip of them at that dinner scene where he calls Grace. And I just want to play it and then we will discuss it. But I want the audience to just listen to the audio and see if it's funny or if it's just kind of uncomfortable.
Greg, would you like to say grace?
Oh, Greg's Jewish, Dad. You know that.
You're telling me the Jews don't pray, honey? Unless you have some objection.
No, I'd love to. Pam, come on. It's not like I'm a rabbi or something. I said grace at many a dinner table. It's... okay. Oh, dear God. Thank you. You are such a good God. To us, a kind and gentle and accommodating God. And we thank you, oh sweet, sweet Lord of hosts, for the smorgasbord you have so aptly lain at our table this day and each day by day. Day by day, by day. Oh, dear Lord, three things we pray. To love thee more dearly, to see thee more clearly, to follow thee more nearly, day by day, by day. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, Greg, that was lovely.
Thank you, Greg. That was interesting, too.
So, like, and again, it comes down to this. I needed to see Greg in his element. Like, I needed to see why Pam even liked him. Like, you don't even need to write Pam's character anymore. I just needed one scene of this dude just, like, charming her at some point.
I felt they had that.
The actors had good chemistry, but I needed, like, just some reason, because then because this is a fish out of water movie, right? Like you take this guy from Chicago, it's a nurse, kind of underqualified. Her dad's CIA agent. All the people in the family are doctors. Blah 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 blah. I needed him to be. I just needed to see one scene of this dude just like in his element, like one scene with his friends, one scene of him doing something else, because it was just he tried to propose so we could meet the two characters. Got it. Oh, dad would respect being asked first before proposing. Okay, got it. That was the first thing. Then they go out to dinner. Maybe he makes some kind of like subtle hints at it, some subtle jokes at it, makes her laugh, makes her charmed, kind of like in his element a little bit. And from there, I think I would have enjoyed the movie more. But like all we see from Greg is that he, like, the first thing he does is kind of uncomfortable, where he Like we see him at the nurse, like they had the nurses set for 2 hours, so they got their one scene done in there, and then the street in Chicago, like where he goes on his knee, being like, "Oh, I didn't change my shoes," where he's like trying to propose to her and stuff, and organizing the kids to get the "marry me" sign. Got it. Like I'm like, I don't know this guy. Like, does this guy have any social awareness whatsoever?
I felt that he put on the charm right there, and then those early scenes of them, like him proposing to his girlfriend, was very sweet and like
It
charming,
was
and like
sweet. It was sweet.
I mean,
But it was just, but it was still
I
like kind of, it was like hinting at the awkwardness to come.
I think that what encapsulates our feelings on this movie is when you just played that clip right there. I was laughing and cracking up, and you were just like stone face sober. So like, so you don't see the humor in that scene right there. You're just like, this is just awkward, and like
It's
that's
just, but it's just like there's not a joke that like the joke
The-
is that it's uncomfortable, and that works if you do it 2 times, and then you have a bunch of other jokes in the movie. Every joke in the movie is just uncomfortable. All right,
That's the whole point.
I'm now going to contrast this with the scene that I think is the funniest in the movie,
Okay.
and this is where Greg floods the septic tank, floods the backyard where the wedding's going to be, and Owen Wilson is bringing his altar over to put it on the grounds.
Nice stench. You're really on a roll there, bud.
Bite me, Denny. Now you listen to me. In 20 hours, I'm having a wedding here, so I need my cesspool pumped now. Not tomorrow, now.
Dad, what's going on? Oh my God.
What's that smell?
That smell, Bob, is our shit. Fokker flushed the toilet in the den, so the septic tank is overflowing.
Jack, I told you it wasn't me. It was Jinx.
Fokker, I'm not gonna tell you again. Jinx cannot flush the toilet. He's a cat, for Christ's sakes.
The animal doesn't even have thumbs, Fokker.
Hey, look at this. Kevo, over by the tree, right?
No, not on the lawn. Stay where you are. Not on the lawn.
What the heck?
Now, see, in this scene, it is the dad and the father-in-law. It's Robert De Niro, Jack, and then whatever the other guy's name is, who are just shitting on Greg. And at this point, completely deservedly so, because this guy has been nothing but the most awkward human in the face of existence since being there. It is literally like he had never spoken with other humans before.
I feel like it's just because like the screen presence of De Niro in this. De Niro's pretty much playing up his like presence in like a lot of other movies where it's just like, obviously he's not a gangster or anything like that, but he still has that intimidation to him. Where it's just like, obviously when we were dating someone, me and the parents for the first time, is like not exactly like this anxious, but it's just like, it's one thing you want to like put your best foot forward, and then if you're the dad answers the door, it's fucking CIA agent Robert De Niro, you'd be like, oh shit, I'm a little intimidated right here. And it's the thing that with the anxiety of Ben Stiller in this movie, he can never shake that off. That he's just scared of De Niro, and he even says that in the movie where it's just like, I don't know if I can handle you, dude.
Yeah, though that's what he says where De Niro has the change of heart when Pam is like, you were just such a jerk to him. All this stuff happened because it was your fault, blah, 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 blah. And then she hears her leaving Greg the voicemail. I love you so much. I'm so sorry all this happened, even though he ruined her sister's wedding completely, but she's still apologizing to him for some reason. And
Dad, it happens. Sometimes people get spiked in the face with a volleyball. Come on, Dad. Be reasonable.
Yeah, but it's just one of the, for me, it just like it doesn't work. I feel like I'm making my point very clear. It just doesn't click for me, and I don't think there's like jokes. I even think of like I always think of the Matthew McConaughey, like Kate Hudson rom-coms, the Sarah Jessica Parker ones, where they're like the most formulaic nonsense on the planet. But at least in those movies, you get at least 5 minutes of them like hanging with the boys, like her hanging with the girls, like just getting to know these characters outside of this relationship. Like I was missing that in this movie, and I needed it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I did make it a little more insular. I talked about this movie briefly, I think last week or 2 weeks ago on the pod. You People on Netflix, and which pretty much feels like a direct remake of this to an extent, except it's just like, I mean, both sides, family of parents, and that movie very similar to this, just was like focus on the cringe humor of it all. Of just like, most of the humor came from like, this is an uncomfortable situation right here. Like, oh my god, like the dad's intimidating, or like the mom's just clueless, or stuff like that over and over and over again. But that movie definitely had a little more like character driven stuff. Like you'd see the characters hanging out with their friends, having beers. I feel like, I don't think in Meet the Fockers, if I remember, if you even meet his friends or anything like that, it's not really a focus of the movie.
Right. It's not the focus of the movie. It's the focus of the movie is on the relationships. Like I'm saying, cast extras that can just say lines fine. It doesn't need to be. It could be you or I just reading lines. But I just needed something of him being like a normal human being, just so I understood it. Because they're like the first scene we see of Greg Fokker is him fake proposing to his patient.
Mm.
Which is already weird in and of itself. And I get the humor of it. It's fine. It's funny. So like, okay, that's your meet cute. That's how you set it up. Like this guy is just head over heels over this girl. Got it. But I just needed one character scene of this movie. And it's kind of my thing with comedy, and it's my hangover theory of comedies is that I think The Hangover is a very funny movie, but I think The Hangover ruined comedy in the 2010s because the comedy is such a plot-oriented movie, and it made so much money that Hollywood was like, okay, our comedies need plots. But I find the best comedies to rarely have plots. They usually have like an overarching thing that's happening, but the rest of it is like jokes and situational humor. Now,
yeah,
and the situational humor varies from situation to situation. Not this is uncomfortable because, and this is uncomfortable because this is uncomfortable because he broke his girlfriend's grandmother's ashes vase. This is uncomfortable because the guy she used to be engaged with has this mega mansion. This is uncomfortable because Robert De Niro found her brother's weed pipe in his pocket. This is uncomfortable because Jack didn't understand the magic dragon.
You're talking over, but yeah, no, I mean, I think that each one of those situations is unique and just like a different type of uncomfortableness. I mean, some of them are also broad physical comedy, like him just like fucking up the whole wedding right there, and like the shit thing that we just played from that clip. And just like, the Puff the Magic Dragon thing, I think that they direct them in different ways where it doesn't feel like it's the same thing over and over and over again. It's just the fact of just a guy not being able to connect with his in-laws whatsoever, specifically his father-in-law. I think that's like the through line. And like, it feels a little bit different. Like, the volleyball scene has physical comedy. So yeah, I don't know. It worked for me, and it felt a little bit varied enough, and didn't feel like seeing the same thing over and over again. And I understood where Ben Stiller's character was coming from. I related to him at some points.
But let me ask you this: do you see where I'm coming from? At least you can disagree.
Yeah,
with
I do.
But do you think I'm making valid points?
I disagree, but I see where you're coming from. I mean, do you see where I'm coming from at least?
Yeah, I do. Like people love this movie.
Yeah,
I'm very much in the minority here of not liking Meet the Parents. And you can tweet at me at FireRManfred, and I won't look at them because I'm not really on social media at the moment. But you can tweet at me and tell me that I'm wrong and I'm stupid or whatever, and I don't care.
Or you can tweet us that haven't seen it, where we do check that Twitter.
That's at Seen It Pod, and Tommy
at Seen It Pod. Yeah, and I checked that Twitter. So, is there one thing we can agree on this movie though?
What?
Randy Newman's score was fucking fire.
Yeah, the score was good. The score was good. The music was good. The production was good. Like it was really well shot, like really well executed. Like it had all the things that I usually look for in a movie. It just doesn't. It just makes my skin crawl, and I don't. There's some stuff. I hate watching it. I hate watching this movie.
There's some things that I just love. I mean, the cringe humor just makes me fucking laugh. I mean, I think it comes from like the horror movie fan of me, where it's kind of similar reactions, where it's just like, obviously horror movies is one type of anxiety, but cringe comedy is like the social type of anxiety. You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah. See, I very rarely get social anxiety, especially anymore. And maybe when I was younger, I would have connected to it more when I did have more social anxiety. But now that I don't, I just look at him like, this guy, like, It comes
Be
down,
confident, you fucker.
yeah, just have an ounce of testosterone in your body, dude. Oh my god, being like
Jesus.
like where they just keep making fun of him for being a nurse, being like, yeah, I'm a nurse. What about it?
Yeah.
Like then they can't say anything. Like it's a respected
Yeah.
profession. I had to work very hard to become a nurse, and then they go,
We need to see the Tim Stestino version of this movie where it's just like, yeah, De Niro, what about it? What are you gonna do?
and here's the thing that he does is it doesn't get either. Like the guy is like this intimidating front. Like you stand up to a guy like that one time for yourself, he's gonna respect you.
Mhm.
Like that's all he was trying to judge for him on and like busting his balls about was just being like, does this guy have a backbone? Can he protect my daughter? And he proves throughout the entire movie that he can't.
Until the end.
When he finally snaps, which is where the movie kind of comes back for me, and I actually like the ending of the movie.
Mm.
But
No,
it's the first hour. It's the first hour and a half of that movie that I'm just makes my skin crawl and want to like roll over in a pit. Like I'm just like,
oh, I don't know. I embrace that feeling. I fucking love that shit. It's fucking hilarious. I mean, I feel like there's an underlying tension of this movie that we haven't really talked about. Is Robert De Niro about to punch Ben Stiller in the face?
Yeah. Oh, he wants to so bad the entire time because he just doesn't respect him. Like he doesn't respect him as a human.
No, you can't blame him.
No, and I can't blame him. And then that's my problem. And like I'm usually like, yeah, throw movie logic. I'm just sitting there being like, this guy is like, all I know about him is that he's a bumbling idiot. That's all I see of him. How did he even land a girl like Pam? She's a babe. She's way too good for him. This guy stinks.
So what I'm coming from about this movie is that you're Team De Niro and I'm Team Stiller.
Oh, I'm Team De Niro. All right, we're going to the next section, baby.
I am a star. I'm a star. I'm a star. I'm a star. I am a big, bright, shining star.
Tommy, who is the star of the movie and why is it Robert De Niro?
I actually do have to agree with you. It is Robert De Niro right here because I think that he just like his reactions to fucking all Ben Stiller's bullshit just makes this movie. Like I said earlier, the fucking Puff the Magic Director thing, where like it's literally Clint Eastwood in that meme, just being like, "Oh God, what? Like, you smoke dope, dude?" And like, what?
Yeah, it's the physical presence, but and De Niro's literally one of the 10 greatest actors to ever walk the earth from all time periods. Mm-hmm. But I do think this is an interesting landmark in time in De Niro's career.
This came right after 2000. So this came not long after Analyze This. Apparently what happened was that De Niro was in active pursuit of comedic roles after Analyze This did so well. So I mean, this was one of the vehicles he decided to hitch on. The other one was like Rocky and Bullwinkle movie, which I think we all forgot about and probably should forget about.
Right, but it feels like after this, like because Meet the Parents was a mega hit, it made $330 million at the box office. So it was like, okay, we're taking this really respected actor in his late 50s, early 60s. We're going to put him in more Hollywood vehicles, like less Scorsese, like art-driven careers. Because like, think about, I'm just going to go through some of the highlights of his 90s here. He has Goodfellas, Guilt by Suspicion, Cape Fear, A Bronx Tale, Casino, Heat, Sleepers, Copland, Jackie Brown, Ronin. Then he goes to Analyze This, where it's his first kind of like comedic, like true comedic experience for De Niro. And then it's like The Adventures of Rocky Bullwinkle. He did Men of Honor, which I didn't even know about. Meet the Parents. But then from after that, it was like this change in De Niro's. He was in Shark Tale.
I mean, to be fair, that was just like a good like paycheck right there, probably. I mean,
absolutely. But it's a very interesting like turn where he kind of goes from being this like prestige. It would be like if Leo in the next 5 years starts doing like Hollywood comedies.
I mean, Don't Look Up was a comedy. I mean, it's a little bit different of one.
But
no, I know.
I'm talking about like a situational, like relatable comedy.
Yeah. I mean, De Niro, we did talk about this. Wasn't actually his really like first comedic performance. I mean, you can count King of Comedy, you can count Midnight Run, which was like 13 years before that. Those both count. But yeah,
those are like prestige film. Like King of Comedy is
Midnight Run.
Comedy. Midnight Run not so much, but you said King of Comedy, and that that's like one of the big influences on Joker, right?
Yeah.
Like, which is like a serious drama. Like, it has its funny moments of it, and it's like any kind of like prestige drama, like The Sopranos, Mad Men, Breaking Bad. Like, those are all really funny like they have really funny moments in them, but they're dramas still. And like he was a dramatic actor for so long.
Well, yeah. And then now we have the point where like we have De Niro showing up in movies like fucking Bad Grandpa or The War of Grandpa, where it's just like now he's in all these like shitty comedies where he's just the grandpa character and he's just the wacky grandpa and like, oh, grandpa, you're so funny and quirky.
And then The Irishman, which was just, we loved that movie, didn't we, Tommy?
That was a good movie. Yeah, the movie gets shit these days. But yeah, some of the CGI wasn't perfect, but I mean, whatever. You deal with what you can get. So apparently, I'll tell you some other people that are up for the role of Robert De Niro's character. So Christopher Walken was the second choice if De Niro turned down. Anthony Hopkins and Harrison Ford were also considered.
Anthony Hopkins and Harrison Ford.
Yeah, or Christopher Walken. I mean, I feel like Christopher Walken was same thing as Wedding Crashers, I guess, essentially.
Yeah. Walken's too light for the intimidation this movie needed. Harrison Ford would have been perfect.
Yeah, he's like a perfect curmudgeon, or like fucking Anthony Hopkins just playing up like a Hannibal Lecter type thing, just creeping him out or something.
Yeah, absolutely. But I feel like this podcast has just developed into one argument where we just keep pulling evidence of points where it worked for you and it just didn't work for me.
Well, like I said, this is the most we ever disagreed on a movie, like easily.
I think Top Gun was another one we disagreed on.
I
also agreed with you that it's not a great movie, but it's a really fun movie.
Yeah.
Where this, I didn't have fun watching this. I'm just sitting there like, I don't like this. If I was not doing a podcast on this movie, I would have this off immediately.
That's how I felt when we watched The Matrix, whatever the fuck it was.
Well, yeah, we don't need to mention our early episodes, okay, Tommy?
Yeah, take it back.
Are you ready, comedy partner? Waka waka.
So, Tommy, would Meet the Parents work as a Muppet adaptation?
I'm gonna say 100% yes. You have Kermit and Miss Piggy as obviously Ben Stiller and his girlfriend, and Robert De Niro is played by Sam the Eagle, and that's your movie right there.
Wouldn't Robert De Niro just be Robert De Niro? Like, there's always a human in the Muppet adaptations.
Owen Wilson.
Just keep Owen Wilson's character?
yeah, where he's just like, oh, I used to be a human. Like, do you still want to be a human or Muppet?
So, I guess I could see it working. The Muppets do the awkward and uncomfortable from time to time. I probably would have liked it more if it was Kermit and Miss Piggy, but I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Well, Tommy,
it's gonna be a fun review.
Yes, give me your score out of 5.
All right. I really like this movie. This felt very relatable to me. I definitely have gotten situations like that, overthinking and anxiety stuff, where you think what could be the worst scenario that would happen, and just play that out. And just this felt like Jay Roach was trying to go for it, an anxiety dream, just over and over and over again, and really relatable. De Niro's hilarious. I thought all the moments were hilarious. I felt like there was enough character moments between the two, where especially the central relationship, where I felt we could understood why they were a couple. I'm honestly gonna go, I think 4.5 out of 5.
Wow, so, you really liked this movie.
Yeah, this movie was hilarious. It just really caught me.
If you fast forwarded to the end and didn't listen to my whole spiel, here's it summed up. I think it's just all repetitive scenarios in terms of this is uncomfortable because this is uncomfortable because, and it doesn't use enough absurdity, in my opinion, to bring any kind of levity to it. And I don't think there's really jokes. It's just uncomfortable situations and mundane dialogue that's not really interesting. I think it's really good performances. I think it's really good. Jay Roach shot the movie well lit, good sets. Movie just doesn't work for me. It makes me want to crawl out of my skin. I'm going to give this 2 out of 5. I don't like this movie. I get why people like it. It's for some people. I don't think it has the humor that The Office has, that any of the cringe comedy things have. It doesn't work for me. I don't like this movie. I will try to go the rest of my days to never see this movie again. Actually, I'm going to go 1.5 out of 5.
Wow. All right. Yeah. No. Seriously. So, like I said, the most we disagree on the movie by far.
By far.
So there you have it.
So, Tommy, any final thoughts?
All right. So I think Timmy's wrong. First of all, just final thought, just getting out there. But thank you guys so much for listening. You can follow us on social media at CNETPod. That's on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And leave us a 5-star review while you're listening. Apple, Spotify, wherever you're listening, or your podcast. And we're coming up for March schedule soon, so get ready.
So yeah, we're going to come up with our March schedule. Thank you all so much for listening. We'll see you next week.